Hey everyone, in this video we will be looking at the basics of cascading style sheets. Cascading style sheets are used to make your web page fancier, prettier. So this is going to give you some way to, like maybe like do placements on your HTML, like move things around, give color, do a left justify, right justify, like overall make it prettier. Because right now, if you look at this web page that I have of a bakery shop, it's pretty plain. Top to bottom, there is not much going on. Nothing interesting is here, right? So this is the reason why we use cascading style sheets. So in order for you to be able to use a style sheet, the first thing that you have to know is that there has to be a link. So you can see here with JDoodle, they provide you that link. So it is part of your example. When you come with your example code, usually it comes with that. You will have this link. So what this says is, hey, this HTML is going to call another file. So the href tells you the name of the file, and the rel attribute tells you what type of file it is. Okay, so all of these are attributes, right? This is the tag and these are attributes. Anything equal to something, that is called as the attribute. So that all of these attributes are really important for us to be able to include a style sheet successfully. So step number one is to make sure that you understand that this line has to be there. So if you delete this line by mistake and then you keep making changes to your style sheet, it is not going to work. No matter what you do, the changes will not be obvious on the screen. Okay, so the way we will be doing is, I have a set of styles I want to apply and I want to show you all of that. So we want to make the page pretty, so we are going to be making changes mostly in the style.css, but also sometimes you may have to tweak the HTML to accommodate some styles. If you want to do something selective, so you may want to create a unique attribute in HTML to differentiate that from other elements. Okay, in those situations, you may have to do changes not just in the style sheet, but also in the HTML. So let me first show you what I have here. So here the first is called create a rule set for body element. Set background color to white and text color to gray, dark gray. Okay, so what do I mean by a rule set? A rule set means you will have something here. So we are saying for body, do this. So this is called as a rule set. Create a rule set for body means you do this. So in style.css, first you would say what item or element or ID or class, there are different types, right? So what selector, we call these as selectors. It is like selectively we are applying styles, right? So in this case, whatever goes inside these curly brackets, those styles will only apply for the body element. Okay, so for body, let us say I want to do background color. So I'm just gonna like make up stuff now. Background color is blue, and then text color is just color. So let us say this is what I want to do. Let us run this now. Okay, well, I put the changes, nothing happened, right? So let's see here. So, so there is nothing happening even though I put my styles here. Okay, that's because of the path. Okay, so this file should say the path. See, CSS is the folder, under that you have style.css. So you have to say CSS / and then when you click on execute, your changes are going to show up. It's not the prettiest, right? But it at least tells you your code is working. Again, let me go back. This is called as a selector. A selector can be, okay, a selector can be tag or class or ID. Okay. So selector means what are you applying the style to? This is a selector here. Selector is just like a way to identify what this rule set is applying to. Okay, sorry. Anything inside the curly bracket is the rule set and it applies to this selector called body. Okay, so that is what the meaning is. So let us say in the instruction what I want to do. Background should be white and text should be dark gray. So let's change this to white. So with CSS, you have to like click on the execute every time. Every line you add, make sure that you're doing that to take a look to see what is going on. Okay. And then your text is dark gray. So if there is a space, it doesn't like it. See, it gives me an error here on the left side. So don't leave any space. Okay. The second set is going to be create a rule set for header element selector. So header element, okay. Element is anything inside a tag like that. See, greater than, less than sign, right? This is a tag. If they are directly referring, if the instruction tells you to directly apply styles to a tag like this, okay, you directly put it here. So how would you do that? You would say for header, I want to apply some tag, some rules. For a header, I want to apply some rules. It is telling me the rule is empty, right? So now let's create the rule. What is it saying? Set the background color to this color and then the text color to FFFF. So these are hexadecimal, which is where you have to put a pound sign in front. So let us say background color. You have to follow these rules, okay? If you don't follow these rules, everything should be lowercase. There has to be a hyphen in between, and then all your colors that are hexa should have a hashtag in front. You have to follow this. If you're going to be like not doing it properly, then your code will not work properly. Pound FFFF, okay? Now that is the header element. So let's look at the header element. What is the header element? Header element is the one that says bakery shop. So that is now going to change. So when you click on the execute, look at that to see what happens to it. So bakery shop background became dark blue and then the text is white. So this is how we go line by line. Every rule set you do, make sure there are no errors. And then you also make sure that you are testing it right away. Third one, create a rule set for nav element selector. So it says element, right? So directly we have to put nav, curly bracket, and then we have to set the background color to sky blue. Oh, and I think here there's a typo. And text color to this color, okay? So let us see for nav, okay? So let's go to style. So I have to say nav. Nav is the tag, right? Between that greater than, less than symbol. So that's the color I want. Sorry. This hashtag is very important. Okay. So do that. Sorry, sky blue color is that color. Now let's hit the execute. So this is for navigation. So whatever is inside your nav. So you can see this is the nav tag. So it set the background and the foreground. Okay. So now let's go to the next one. Okay, next we are going to set the color for the H4 element. Let's go to the HTML, find H4 elements, okay? So there is a H4 here. That color is going to change. Wherever you look for, see our journey, that's going to change. our promise, that's going to change. Okay, any other H4 like this guy here, list of our location, all of this will get the color that we are going to put now. Again, H4 is a tag, so there is nothing. You just put H4 like that. Sorry. That's the color we want. The text color is just color. Okay. So the way it works is you give what you want to change followed by a colon and then the data, right? So color, colon, data, and then you put a semicolon. So that is how you do it. Now let's hit the H4 and look for, see, you can see all these titles changed to blue. Anything that's a H4 will get that value. Okay. Okay, so let's see what is the next one. So we just saw a whole bunch where we just use the tag element to set the styles. So next one is going to be so if we want only the bakery shop to get a certain value, a certain color, let's think about it. How would we do that? Bakery shop. That is the only one we want. Okay, so let's look here. You can see here this bakery shop, right, is within a span tag, and it says it is owned and operated by two sisters, and then there's a story there, right? So we want only this guy to be impacted. Okay, only this guy's color should change. If there are other span elements on the page, they should not change. So what other span elements do we have? So anything else that has a span should not be affected by the change. Okay, so let's look for other span elements. So there is one for copyright, right? So we don't want this guy to change colors. We only want what we are talking about, that one element should change color. But there are two spans, right, in the page. So how do we deal with that? So what you can do is you can add an attribute here. Okay, you can give an ID for this guy. So you could say bakery shop. So this span has a name now, right? The ID is the name. So this span is unique now. So we could use that trick to change the color of that particular span. So because it has an ID, we could just use this ID to set that style. So instead of using span here, normally we would have said span, okay, and then we could have said color, colon, and we could have said color. Okay, instead of that, now we are going to change it. So let me make sure the color is right. So yeah, that is the color. So it doesn't matter what you call it in the HTML, because the name is like unique, right? You could give it any name, but this ID is unique, right? ID is an attribute. We cannot change this attribute. So you got to be very specific that after the span, you leave a space, then give ID equal to, and within quotes, you give whatever is the unique name. It could be my title. It could be, 1, 2, 3, whatever you want, you can use it. But it has to be unique for the page. So now instead of saying span, which will affect both places, I am going to say bakery shop. Well, bakery shop is not a tag, right? It is not going to be, bakery shop is not like this. It is not like this in the HTML, right? So it is inside the ID tag. So instead of just directly calling its name, for everyone to know it is an ID, you have to put a hashtag in front. When you do that, then it knows it has to look for a unique ID. So now let's run this code. You can see just the bakery shop got the color, and then the other span, which is the footer, is not affected at all by this change. Okay, so that is when it is called as an ID selector. Okay, this is called as ID selector. Okay, so the ID here is the bakery shop. We have to use a pound in front of it. So let's look at something here. So for example, if you see this unordered list, LI, so there are two of them in the page. Okay, so we have this list here in the FAQ. Sorry, this one. This is also a list. Okay, and this is also a list. So if you want to like set, like let us say you want them to be a unique color, or you want them to be bold, or whatever it is the style is, right? You want to highlight them. But then there are two set of lists in the page, right? So can you assign an ID to each of these lists? You can, but that is not a very efficient way because there are multiple, right? ID should be unique. So in this case, what we can do is we can do something called as class. Oops. Hmm. Something like that. So let me just call the class as magenta, or the class could be orange. So we are going to make it orange. Okay, so only those that need that style, this is the name of a style. Okay, so we just say class equal to orange. So we give that style. So now what happens, only these four guys have that, these three guys don't have it. And this is not something unique, right? It does not denote the unique identifier for that particular list. It is more giving you like a style. So now you can go to your style. Now what we are going to do is called as the class selector. Okay, so now we are going to be using the class. So in order to use the class, so let's first put that. Okay, class selector. So we start with a dot and then the name of the class, dot orange. Color is orange. Okay, this is going to give you an orange color for only those items, okay, not others. So let's look at it. Moment of truth. So you can see only the top list is affected, not the bottom list. Okay, so just to give you an idea like how to use the class, so we saw a few things in this one, right? When we looked at overall for this exercise, it's mainly focused on selectors and a couple styles. We just saw the colors, right? Colors are the most interesting, that's going to have the biggest impact, right? So that is why I want to like do this particular week with just the colors, background color, text color, and then here we have used the tag directly. Tag is something that is inside this, like this. We cannot make this up. Okay, whatever is there is what we can use. Okay, so if you want to apply styles for h3, then you will say h3 here and then the curly brackets. So this is what I call as a rule set. So when you see instruction that says create a rule set for body element, it will look like you say body and then curly bracket, that is the rule set. Whatever I'm asking you to put the rules as the style rules, you just put them in here. Okay, in terms of the rule for any CSS, again, so curly brackets, every style should be in its own sentence for readability. Every style should have two parts. The first left side is going to say what it is that you want to set, and then the right side is going to be a value, right? Key value, color dark gray, background color white. So like that. So the in between there is a colon, and in the end it should be a semicolon. You miss something, like for example, you go and say, it tells you here that it is a mistake. Okay, so watch out for that. When you see the X symbol, you have to fix it right away. Okay, I hope you found this useful. This should help you with your homework. Thank you.